Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Malik Hodge, and this is War Alert. Welcome. Sisters and brothers, this is where we look at current events that are taking place in the world today through the lens of the unsealed scriptures of the Bible. That gives us detailed information on what's taking place in the world today and what is going to take place from the unsealed scriptures of the Bible. Sisters and brothers, we are at war. Sisters and brothers, the war that is taking place in the Middle East is directly connected to the original black man and woman here in the hills of North America. Sisters and brothers, this war between Iran, America, false Israel, who attacked Iran. Let's do it like this. Killing Iran's supreme leader, and many of his family members, his daughter, his grandson, his wife. Sisters and brothers, this war that you're witnessing, that we're witnessing, is going to change the world as you know it. This war is going to bring this reality that you're living in to a close. Sisters and brothers, America is going to be thrown out of the Middle East, and false Israel will be sieged and then destroyed. Sisters and brothers, this war is directly connected to the original black man and woman here in America. Sisters and brothers, you must take heed to what's taking place right in your midst, right in your face. Now, I'm going to go about doing this another way. To get you to understand what's taking place, what's happening in your face. And what we're going to do is look at what's taking place right now and give you the understanding of it, connecting it to the scriptures, confirming what scripture, what the unsealed scriptures have been sharing with us, the information that has been provided to you from the messenger of the covenant through the unsealed scriptures of the Bible or the Injil. So let's get right into it. I'm going to do this just how it flows. See how it flows. Sisters and brothers. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Let's do this. All right, sisters and brothers. We're going to listen to a clip. This is it may have a break in it. However, this is the only way that I can get the clip to work out for me. So bear with me.
I need to talk to Black America right now because nobody is breaking this down for us. There is a war happening in the Middle East. Bombs are falling on Iran across 24 provinces. The Strait of Hormuz, the waterway where 20% of the world's oil passes through every single day, has been shut down. Oil tankers are sitting still. Supply chains are freezing. And I need you to understand what that means for your life. Not in some abstract geopolitical way. I mean your gas tank, your grocery bill, your rent, your job. Because every single time America starts a war in the Middle East, there is a chain reaction that hits home. Oil prices spike, gas goes up. When gas goes up, everything goes up. Because everything in this country is moved by trucks that run on fuel. Food gets more expensive. Shipping gets more expensive. Heating your home gets more expensive. Companies start cutting costs. And when companies cut costs, the first people who lose their jobs, the first neighborhoods that lose services, the first communities that slip into crisis are Black communities, every single time. This isn't theory. It happened after the Gulf War. It happened after Iraq. It happened after Libya. And what's happening right now in Iran is bigger than all of those combined. If you're new here, this is Black Culture Unlocked. Subscribe and hit the bell. Because this is the video the news should be showing right now, but won't. Let me explain why this particular war is more dangerous to your wallet than any war America has fought in decades. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow waterway between Iran and Oman. It is only 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, and roughly 20% of all the oil consumed on Earth passes through it every single day. That is about 21 million barrels of oil every day, moving through a choke point narrower than the distance from one side of Manhattan to the other. When Operation Epic Fury launched on February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel struck Iran across 24 of its 31 provinces. Iran's navy was targeted directly, and 11 vessels were sunk in the Gulf of Oman in a matter of days. The naval headquarters in Bandar Abbas, which sits directly on the strait, was engulfed in flames. Iran responded by effectively closing the Strait of Hormuz. Commercial tanker traffic has stalled. Insurance companies are refusing to cover ships passing through the area. Oil that was flowing freely 2 weeks ago is now sitting in ports with nowhere to go. The last time the Strait of Hormuz was even threatened with closure, not actually closed, oil prices jumped 15% in a single week. This time, it is not a threat. The waterway is functionally shut down. And every barrel of oil that cannot get through that strait is a barrel that drives prices higher for everyone, and especially for people who were already stretched thin before this started. Here's how this hits you directly.
Turns out, if you've been in a car accident,
Oil prices spike, gas prices follow within days, not weeks, days. Gas stations adjust their prices based on the wholesale cost of fuel, and that wholesale cost is tied directly to global oil markets. The Strait of Hormuz shutting down is the single most disruptive event that can happen to oil supply on Earth. We saw it after Iraq in 2003. Gas prices rose nearly 50% between 2003 and 2008. We saw it after Libya in 2011. Gas hit $4 a gallon nationally, and in some cities it crossed $5 a gallon. We saw it after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. Gas spiked to over $5 a gallon nationally, the highest in American history at the time. But here's the part that hits Black communities specifically. When gas goes up, everything goes up. The price of food in the United States is directly tied to transportation costs. Over 70% of all freight in the United States moves by truck. Those trucks run on diesel. When diesel prices spike, the cost of getting food from farms to warehouses to grocery stores goes up, and that cost gets passed directly to you at the register. In 2022, when gas hit its peak after the Ukraine crisis, food prices in the United States rose by over 10% in a single year, the fastest increase in 40 years. Studies consistently show that food price inflation hits Black households harder because Black families spend a higher percentage of their income on food and essentials than white families. When you are already spending 30 to 35% of your income just to eat and keep the lights on, a 10% price increase is not an inconvenience. It is a crisis. This is the conversation nobody is having on the news. If you know someone who needs to hear this, share this video right now. Like and subscribe. Let's keep going. Every major Middle East conflict in the last 50 years has been followed by an economic downturn in the United States. Everyone. The 1973 oil embargo, triggered by conflict in the Middle East, caused a recession that lasted until 1975. Unemployment hit 9%. Inflation reached double digits. The 1979 Iranian Revolution and the war between Iran and Iraq that followed caused oil prices to double. The United States entered a deep recession in 1980 that lasted 2 years. Unemployment peaked at nearly 11%. The 1990 Gulf War caused an oil price shock that contributed to the recession from 1990 to 1991. The 2003 invasion of Iraq helped fuel the conditions. through deficit spending and economic instability that led to the financial crisis from 2007 to 2008. And here's the pattern within the pattern. In every single one of those recessions, Black unemployment was roughly double white unemployment. Every time. That's not a coincidence. It's structural. Black workers are disproportionately in industries that get hit first during economic downturns, including the service sector, retail, hospitality, and transportation. When companies start laying people off, they start at the bottom. And in America, the bottom has always been disproportionately Black. During the 2008 financial crisis, Black unemployment peaked at 16.8%, nearly double the national average. Black household wealth dropped by 53% between 2005 and 2009. The median white household had 20 times the wealth of the median Black household by 2009. A huge portion of that wealth destruction came from the housing crisis, which hit Black homeowners hardest because they had been steered into predatory subprime loans at rates far higher than white borrowers with the same credit profiles. That's what happens when wars create economic shocks. The shock travels through the system and lands hardest on the people with the least cushion. And in America, that's Black people. Always has been. And here's the part that should make you angry. Every time America enters a war, military recruitment in Black communities increases. Not because Black people are more patriotic, because the economic conditions created by war, rising prices, fewer jobs, and shrinking opportunities push people into the military as a last resort. The military knows this. Recruitment offices are disproportionately concentrated in low-income neighborhoods. Recruiters target high schools in communities with the fewest college-bound students and the highest unemployment. They offer signing bonuses, college tuition, healthcare, housing, everything that the economy just made harder to access. Black Americans are overrepresented in the military relative to their share of the population. They are overrepresented in the enlisted ranks, the people on the front lines, while being underrepresented in the officer corps. The people giving the orders are disproportionately white. The people carrying them out are disproportionately Black and brown. So let me draw the line for you. America starts a war. That war creates an economic crisis at home. That crisis hits Black communities hardest. That hardship drives Black men and women into the military. Then the military sends them to fight the very war that destroyed their economic prospects in the first place. It's a cycle. It is not an accident. It is a pipeline. From your neighborhood to the battlefield, funded by the very instability the war creates.
If you got hit, even as a passenger or...
So what is coming from the Iran war specifically? Let me be direct. If the Strait of Hormuz remains disrupted for weeks or months, oil prices could reach levels we have not seen since 2008, possibly higher. Gas prices nationally could push past $6 a gallon. In some cities, you could be looking at $7 or $8 a gallon. Oil prices will ripple through the economy. When that happens, food prices will follow. Rent pressures will increase as landlords pass energy costs to tenants. Small businesses in Black neighborhoods, already operating on thin margins, will start closing. Hiring will freeze. Layoffs will begin in the sectors where Black workers are most concentrated. If this escalates into a prolonged conflict, if American troops are deployed on the ground, if Iran continues retaliating, if oil supply is disrupted for months, we are looking at a potential recession. And we already know who gets hurt worst in a recession. Here's what makes this moment different from previous wars. Black America is already under economic pressure. The wealth gap has not closed. Median Black household wealth is still a fraction of median white household wealth. Housing costs have been rising for years. Student loan burdens weigh disproportionately on Black graduates. This war is not hitting a community with a cushion. It is hitting a community that was already on the edge. So, what can you do? First, understand what is happening. Do not let the news frame this as something happening over there. Every bomb that drops on Iran sends a ripple through the global economy that will reach your grocery store within weeks. Second, prepare. Lock in prices where you can. Reduce unnecessary spending. Build whatever financial cushion you are able to, even if it is small. Third, pay attention to who is profiting. Defense contractors, oil companies, financial firms that bet on volatility. Every war creates winners and losers, and the winners are never the people in your neighborhood. And fourth, remember this the next time someone tells you the war was necessary. Ask them who paid the price, because the answer is always the same. The news covers this war like it is a military story. Missiles, targets, casualties, strategic objectives. But for Black America, this is not a military story. It is the economic story. It is the story of how a conflict 7,000 miles away is about to make it harder for you to fill your tank, feed your kids, pay your rent, and keep your job. And the part that should keep you up at night, they know this. The people who make these decisions, the politicians, the defense contractors, the oil executives, they know exactly what happens to Black communities when wars drive up prices and crash economies. They have seen it every time. They have the data, they have the history, and they do it anyway. Because Black communities absorbing the economic shockwaves of American wars is not a bug in the system. It is the system. Now you know how it works. Do not let it work on you without you seeing it coming. If this opened your eyes, subscribe, share this with everyone, drop a comment and tell me, has the cost of gas or groceries already hit your household? The war just started and the bill hasn't even arrived yet. I'll see you in the next one.
This online magazine looks great on your
All right, sisters and brothers. Now, this is what's taking place right now. And it is directly what the unsealed scriptures has shared with us. Sisters and brothers, let's look at it like this. Michael and his angels will go to war with the dragon and his angels. Now, the scriptures state, Revelations 12, chapter 12, verse 7 through 9. And occurred war in the heaven. That's the Middle East. Heaven is the Middle East. The Michael and the angels of him other to war with the dragon. And the dragon warred and the angels of it. Sisters and brothers, Michael represents and is the God, Master Farad Muhammad. And his angels are Iran and Syria. The dragon, sisters and brothers, is the house of Saud, Saudi Arabia. And the angels of the dragon, or the angels of it, is America, false Israel, and Britain. Now, the scriptures state, and not it proved strong. Not but place was found of them yet in the heaven, and was thrown the dragon, the great, who's Saudi Arabia, the serpent, the archaic, false Israel, the being called devil and the Satan, which includes America and Britain, and making to air the being inhabited whole. Is making the whole America and Britain the two world powers, as along with false Israel, are making the inhabited whole. The whole planet is following their lead. They're corrupting and have corrupted the whole planet with their ways, with their Christianity, Catholicism, their fake religion. So, I think that's accurate. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of him with him were thrown. Sisters and brothers, the messenger of the covenant, Master Suleiman, Joshua, has given us a detailed message, sharing with us far in advance of this war that we're witnessing right now. The unsealed scripture gives us the understanding, the knowledge of what was coming, what is happening, and what is going to happen from what's taking place. So, sisters and brothers, it was said no one's sharing this with you. No one in the media. None of the preachers. Louis Farrakhan and none of his student ministers will speak on this. No one has connected what's taking place right now in the world today with the unsealed scriptures, with the Bible. Let's just say it like that. I was going to say something else. I'm going to just leave it. It's plain so you can understand. However, sisters and brothers, the messenger of the covenant has been sharing with us daily, weekly, monthly, yearly on this time, this event that is taking place in your right now in your eyes, right now in the midst of the world for years, giving us down to let me say it like this, giving us exactly the information of what the participants, the outcome, and how it is going to affect the original black man and woman here in America and over the planet. Sisters and brothers, and has given us detailed information of what you're witnessing or we're witnessing is about to call from the unsealed scriptures. So you're not just getting information, you're getting information, a 360. You're being informed 360 degrees of what's taking place and what is going to take place from this war, from the unsealed scriptures. Sisters and brothers, let's say it like this. No one shared with you other than the messenger of the covenant what the abomination of desolation is and what it signaled, what the signal or message or warning that the signal was given. Sisters and brothers, the scripture shares with us. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation, which was spoken of through Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, let the reader understand. Sisters and brothers, false Israel is an abomination. False Israel is causing abominable destruction on the Palestinians. Where? In the holy place. So no one else shared with you that the abomination of desolation has been taking place since 2023. October 7th. Sisters and brothers, this abomination, false Israel suppressed Palestine, or Hamas with abominable, cruel destruction. They suppressed the rise up with abominable, cruel destruction. That's exactly what's taking place to this day. In America, and false Israel has been carrying out this genocide on the Palestinian people. Now, sisters and brothers, the abomination of desolation, the scripture said, when you see this, when you see this scripture, it's a sign. This is a sign. This sign, sisters and brothers, this sign is given to the original black man and woman. But it's a sign that the world will see. When you see the abomination of desolation, we've been witnessing it. Now, sisters and brothers, when you see the abomination that causes desolation standing where it does not belong, let the reader understand. So, this abomination that's standing where it does not belong, false Israel, is this abomination in heaven, in the Middle East, in the holy place, calling themselves God's chosen people. They are, and false Israel is an abomination standing where it does not belong. So when you see this, when you see the abomination of desolation. When you see this war take place. Now, when you see this, understand what is coming next, sisters and brothers. This now it states, but when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then recognize that her desolation, her destruction is near. Then those who are in Judea must flee to the mountains. And those who are inside the city must leave, and those who are in the country must not enter the city, because these are days of punishment, so that all things which have been written will be fulfilled. Woe to those women who are pregnant and to those who are nursing babies in those days, for there will be great distress upon the land and wrath to this people. Sisters and brothers, Jerusalem is, who's in Jerusalem? False Israel. When you see false Israel surrounded by armies, armies are all around false Israel. So it's sharing with you. When you see this, know that false Israel's desolation, destruction is near. And we, the original black man and woman, or those who are in Judea, we are the ones here in America who must flee to the mountains. Sisters and brothers, this is what's taking place. This is what is happening in your midst now. I'm going to remove this because I want to do this where you understand, sisters and brothers. Now, the unsealed scriptures gives us this information. The messenger of the covenant has given us the absolute understanding from the unsealed scriptures of what is taking place, what was going to take place, because it hadn't took place at that time. But before, during, and as these events unfold, you have been giving the absolute understanding of what is going to happen, what the outcome of what you're witnessing will be, and what you need to do to be successful. Sisters and brothers, now, no one other than the messenger of the covenant is able or has given you detailed understanding of the unsealed scriptures. Detailed understanding of what is and will be. Detailed. In detail. Sisters and brothers. So now you're witnessing what has been shared with you. Now we're going to look at another clip. Now, this clip, because the unsealed scripture lets us know that America will be kicked out the Middle East. Thrown out. False Israel will be seized and destroyed. The dragon, the house of Saudi Arabia, will be thrown out of Arabia. Britain will be thrown out of the Middle East and into death, which is a spot on the Angel Key. We'll get to that as well. However, sisters and brothers, letting you know this clip lets you know that there's no other option. They're leaving. This clip is going to give you understanding that the only option or demand given by Iran to America is to get out of the Middle East, shut all the military bases down, and leave. I'm not going to tell you the whole clip. Watch it. And then we'll go from there. All right.
For 4 days, the man who controls the most dangerous government in the Middle East said absolutely nothing. No video, no speech, no press conference, not a single word. Iran's new supreme leader, Moshtaba had been appointed on March 8th. His own succession rally happened in Bahrain. He was not there. Supporters stood in a crowd holding up a photograph of him because there was nothing else to hold. Then today, Thursday, March 12th, he finally broke his silence. And what he said did not bring this war closer to ending. It made it impossible. In a written statement read aloud by a state TV anchor because bases in the Middle East were shut down immediately, and if they do not quit, those bases will be attacked. Number three, Iran has studied the opening of brand new war fronts, ones where, in his words, the enemy has no experience disarming. And number four, the three conditions Iran demands before this war ends. Those three conditions are the reason I made this video today. Because if we make it inaccurate, we will understand what Iran is actually asking for and what Washington can never agree to. You realize this is not a war of victory on a national debt. This is a war being won. It's war of longer, more dangerous weapons. Before I break down exactly what these three demands are, and each one is a red line in the United States, the Republicans in high places, the Bushers and the Governors line, if this war has no disconnected, hit the subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. This video is moving faster than almost anything in our code. And what happens in the next 72 hours will determine whether diplomatic questions and plays back on the edge. You need to be here to identify the price. Let me show you exactly what is the next step. And more importantly, let me show you what the headlines are not telling you. What the Iran actually said word by word. Quick context first. Al-Taliban, 56 years old, was selected as Iran's third Supreme Leader of al-Qaeda 10 days after his father, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed in U.S. Israeli airstrikes on February 29. The same strike that killed his father also killed his mother, his wife, and his son. He himself is still fighting guns, including a fractured foot in that same attack. He's 9 years old since. Now, Afghanistan communicates only through a written statement by Dr. TV anchor after 4 days of total silence. Every word in that statement carries an enormous weight. Intelligence agencies have been required to not just read what was said, but analyze what was included, what was left out, the order in which words were named, and the specific language chosen. So let me go through the statement that my analysts are watching right now. Point one, the order and the layout of revenge. Iran and Iraq were friends for a decade before this started. He specifically mentioned destroying armed vehicles in Manama, southern Iran, by Saudi Hajj. According to Iranian state media and independent investigators, between 165 and 180 people were killed in that strike, most of them civilians. The UN condemned it as one of the deadliest single strikes of all. CNN has also suggested during the strike today that the UN has entered denial as well. CNN also said every person killed in this war is unquote independent story revenge. Think about what that language means strategically. He is not saying Iran is seeking automatic revenge and that decision will be accepted. He's saying everything will be handled. And the only way Iranian agencies reported today that 3 potential human beings have been displaced inside Iran alone. Everything was Iranian agencies told support an attack. The drones and the military have been used for retaliation. Many have not abandoned the relentless apparently unilateral ceasefire. Point two, in order to fully end these divisions, certainly right now the right thing is to reappoint a peacekeeping unit. Again, I quote, because the current failure to communicate resolve disputes is presently demanded. Now is a better time to prepare again. This conflict can go away. A tool is something as quick as applying pressure with inflicting minor irreversible damage. All organizations are convinced the statement being read.
All right, sisters and brothers. Do something quick. He's good. All right. The demands, as she left off, she said that was a surrender document. So, sisters and brothers, what this means for us. This means pay great attention to the first clip. This means that Iran is sharing you must surrender to our demands or else. Sisters and brothers, what you're witnessing is going to affect the world's economy as well as America's economy. Sisters and brothers, prepare yourselves. Go now with whatever you have or can spare. Get you some food saved up that's unperishable, that you can put in your car and move around with. Get you some water. Sisters and brothers, get you at least a 30-day supply of food. If you can get 60-day supply, get you a 60-day supply of food and water. Sisters and brothers, the unsealed scripture shares with us, what is this war about? What is causing what we're witnessing? Sisters and brothers, this war is directly connected to the original black man and woman of America. False Israel is false. False Israel is sitting in Palestine, committing genocide, claiming that they're God's chosen people. America and Britain set false Israel in Palestine. This lie that false Israel is God's chosen people, sisters and brothers, is the religious eschatology that is being used over the planet, and Britain and America uses this eschatology with Jesus or Jesus and Catholicism. Sisters and brothers, false Israel will be sieged and destroyed. You're watching false Israel be destroyed. False Israel's destruction is going to shock the world. The destruction of false Israel is going to open the eyes of the world that false Israel is not the true seed of Abraham. False Israel is not God's chosen people. False Israel is the synagogue of the Satan. And the original black man and woman in America are God's chosen people, the true seed of Abraham. And the world will be shocked because they have blessed false Israel. In the world, the nations have cursed, had their foot, and the nation have been blessed. From us, off of our backs, off of our suffering. And the nations will know exactly what that means. Sisters and brothers, this is a detailed message to God's chosen people, to Abraham's seed, which is us. That no one can take, no one can put to them. Only the original black man and woman in America. Only. There's no evidence of this ever happening in the past, but it's clear evidence, unrestricted, untainted, untouchable evidence of who this message is for. Sisters and brothers. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. But thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age, and in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a flaming torch passed between these pieces. Sisters and brothers, 1619 to 2019, unrefusable. 400 years of being enslaved and afflicted here in America. We are afflicted, being afflicted to this very day, very moment. Sisters and brothers, we have never been free. We are under their rules, their laws. And we are still not given any justice. Sisters and brothers, there's no might be or may be here. This is a message to Abraham's seed that we will be enslaved in a strange land and afflicted 400 years. And after that 400 years, I will judge that nation whom they shall serve. 2020 came in with the plague that will kill the scriptures, that will kill the firstborn. Sisters and brothers, they recognize this plague. The false Jews go through a ritual of the Passover. The Passover is a ritual of God's chosen people being passed over when this plague of death came up on the lands. And the nations all over the planet was touched by what they call COVID-19. The European nations were decimated. False Israel was decimated by the plague. It didn't pass them over. None of them. And it was killing what the scriptures say, the firstborn. That is the firstborn is the elderly. And it passed over the original people of the planet. All over the planet. So they recognized the Passover. They knew what time it is and was. They recognized the time. Sisters and brothers, pay attention. Clip 1. Share with you that they know what this war is going to do to the black community or the black people. That's all blacks. That's the original black man and the demons. All blacks. They understand this. Sisters and brothers, they know that they're going to need you to fight if they can get you to fight in their war. In their wars, because we're just witnessing the war in heaven. Sisters and brothers, the war in heaven is going to trigger the war of Armageddon, which Louis Farrakhan didn't know nothing about. He's just lying, deceiving. And you've seen no fallout from the Ukraine war that triggered anything. This war in heaven, in the Middle East, will trigger the apocalypse. I mean, it's the war of Armageddon, which is one of the wars of the apocalypse. Sisters and brothers, back on the point. Listen. Pay attention. You're witnessing a calculated plan. Now, America cannot allow false Israel to lose the war. America's religious eschatology relies on false Israel. That's the block. That's the lie that they have used to keep our minds locked. But when false Israel is destroyed, the original man and woman will know without a shadow of a doubt that we are God's chosen people. That indicates, sisters and brothers, that our rise is here. That we will rise, and our rise is natural. It's their fall. We are an existential threat to them. Now, pay close attention, sisters and brothers. Let me do this. Let me do this. I'm going to do that. All right. The economy will crash. We are going to lose jobs at an alarming rate. They don't need us anymore. They need to get rid of us. Sisters and brothers, AI can cover many of the jobs, if not many, let me just use that, of the jobs that we hold. Sisters and brothers, America, the unsealed scriptures lets us know that America is planning to attack all blacks. So if you don't willingly join their army so they can sit you on the front line and have you fighting for your enemy, they or have set up a plan to attack us all. Now, what is the plan? You already won't have food. You're already going to be suffering there, sisters and brothers, because the whole nation is going to be suffering because they will not have any fuel to give to civilians while they're at war. They're going to demand the fuel that is available in America go to the government. They're going to take it. Now, when the fuel shortage comes into full throttle, they're sharing with you things are happening. They're saying, well, 72 hours, in so many hours. Sisters and brothers, you understand that's not weeks. So if this happens in 72 hours, then we know that, are we going to be pushed off a ledge, or where is this going? Sisters and brothers, if you don't fight with them, let's pay attention.
Hurdles that these violent parties. But it is children and families parents being taken from communities who have roots in these communities. There's people who have humanitarian parole, others who are managed U.S. citizens. There's pregnant women giving birth to newborn babies inside this facility.
So, John, as we grapple with the question of how shame motivate change, is this a moment where maybe we're next year, around immigration, when we hear these stories inside places like Dilley, does that spur the administration to change? Or why is it just that they put a different things like COVID and immigration effort and change in the same?
Excuse me.
Building tons of new ICE detention facilities. There's a controversy about that. I may have covered it. It's one of the new focuses in this story, and I think it's a little bit great. I like what happened in Minneapolis, where I see so much.
All right, sisters and brothers. So, what you're witnessing with ISIS and as you hear what is taking place from California to DC to Chicago to Tennessee to St. Louis in these cities inside black neighborhoods are dress rehearsals. Dress rehearsals. Sisters and brothers, that means that they're planning, they're rehearsing what they're going to do. So the reason why you're seeing these ICE facilities ballooning, in their words, ballooning up all over the country. They're not jails. They're not penitentiaries because you're full of, we're all in there. So the plan for these facilities, sisters and brothers, they're going to use these facilities as camps, concentration camps, holding camps for us, sisters and brothers. The Unsealed Scriptures shares with us Exodus chapter 1, verse 9 through 10, said, look, he said to his people, the Israelites have become too numerous and too powerful for us. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, or they will increase even more. And if a war breaks out, they may join our enemies, fight against us, and leave the country. Sisters and brothers, flee. Those who are in Judea, flee to the mountains. Flee because they are planning to attack us all. They understand what you don't know. And they understand that there will be a food shortage, that there will be a job shortage, and that they will have to find or have somewhere to contain them niggas at, first of all, because we know they're not going to sit back and just watch, not eat, and let us do what we want to do to them. Sisters and brothers, America Department of Defense put this into effect, this 5240-5240.01 directive into effect on September 27th, 2024. You can go find it. However, I'm just going to read what this directive is and why you're witnessing ICE with the power to do whatever they want. We're the plan. The plan that the trap is set. Sisters and brothers. Now, assistance in responding with assets with potential for lethality or any situation in which it is reasonably foreseeable that providing the requested assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. It also includes all support to civilian law enforcement officials in situations where a confrontation between civilian law enforcement and civilian individuals or groups is reasonably anticipated. Such use of force must be in accordance with DODD 5210.56. Sisters and brothers, the unsealed scripture shares with us their plan. Now, bringing this to the end, to wrapping this up, Abraham's vision we've already went through, and the Abrahamic covenant. Now, the Abrahamic covenant. In that day, God made a covenant with Abram, saying, until thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Sisters and brothers, the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates, is in Arabia. Is Arabia. Sisters and brothers, Arabia is the promised land. God made a covenant the same day as he gave us this detailed message that we would go through. And his chosen people would carry out this detailed message, and then after that 400 years, God will bring them out with great substance. And in that same day God made this covenant. In that day, God made a covenant with Abram, saying, until thy seed have I given this land. They don't want us to know our land is Arabia. They don't want us to know that we're not staying here. They want us to stay up under their foot, fight for them. Do not leave the country because they use our creativity to produce everything that's been produced. Sisters and brothers, we are going home. Our rise is at hand. And we're going to rise as a mighty nation, a mighty army overnight. Sisters and brothers, America is going to attack us all because of this covenant. America cannot allow false Israel to fail. They have to play the role all the way. This is directly about false Israel being God's chosen people. So they have to protect false Israel existing in the Middle East. Because America and Britain set false Israel up in the Middle East in 1948 to claim that they were fulfilling the Abrahamic covenant and that they were God's chosen people. However, this war is first taking false Israel out first. False Israel will be taken out first to remove that lie from the world, killing their religious eschatology. And that's going to cause the original black man and woman to understand who they are, and we will rise up immediately, overnight, as a mighty army. Sisters and brothers, America plan is to attack us all before false Israel is destroyed. Before. No one is giving you this detailed information except the messenger of the covenant. The outcome of the war. The participants of the war. What the silence of the war was, the pause in the war, what that pause was, and when the pause ended. And that there's no stopping Iran. The demands let you know where this is going. There's no off ramp given to America, false Israel. None but to submit. That's what the unsealed scriptures shared. The messenger of the covenant shared with us. The scripture said that they will come up on them like a whirlwind. And Iran, Michael, and Iran and Syria will be victorious. So understand, sisters and brothers, that there's no off ramp. America economy will collapse. Will collapse. America, this war will evolve or grow into what they are calling World War III. The scriptures call it the War of Armageddon, where this will immediately turn into a European war. Of all Europe will be at war. And China will move directly on Britain and destroy Britain. Sisters and brothers, detailed information, not watch the weather. The messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, Joshua, the Messiah, Master Suleiman, is giving us detailed information on what's taking place. Sisters and brothers, Louis Farrakhan will be exposed and deposed, thrown out the Nation of Islam. And the messenger of the covenant will suddenly appear in the messenger's temple, in the Nation of Islam. The Lord whom you seek. Sisters and brothers, we're going to bring this to an end. This is what you're witnessing. This is what they're sharing with you. There's no off ramp. This is what you're witnessing is going to bring the world economy. It's going to collapse the world economy. So you know the American economy is going to collapse. All of America's honey-do littles, all of America's friends. It says in scripture, all of the harlots or other, all her lovers will leave her. All her America's friends is going to leave America stranded because America has lied, deceived, lied, and to everyone. And America will find herself alone, abandoned, and hungry. Sisters and brothers, with that, I'm going to bring this to a close and greet you as I came. In the greeting words of peace, Assalamu alaikum.